How's the 9s up past his bed? He doesn't work low band. We're going to say that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Kyle, AA0Z. Got Mike Walker, Flex Radio. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Mike,
is everything working?
Everything's working, yes. We had a little, Mike had some tough technical difficulties. I had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're in the flesh. So Mike is no stranger to the channel. We have streamed many times, both on the Flex channel and on my channel. So it's good to see you, Mike, and thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. We got a lot to unpack tonight. We got two main topics that we're going to talk about. First main topic that I want to get out into the open is the latest on the Aurora and what's going on with that. Maybe we'll do a what is the Aurora for those people that are new at home. And then also we're going to talk about subscriptions and the new announcement that came out a couple days ago, I don't know, a week ago about subscriptions. Caught me off guard. I didn't, full disclosure, I did not know anything about subscriptions, and I was actually on vacation and was reading it on my phone and was like, oh, that's interesting. Once I get back into reality, I'll hit up Mike. So here we are talking about subscriptions. So I'm going to ask a bunch of questions that are probably have already been answered, but I'm going to, I'm learning about subscriptions for the first time too. And yeah, so we'll go from there. You want to talk about Aurora first?
Yeah. So thanks, Kyle. And yeah, I pinged him on vacation. I said, Kyle, we should probably go talk about a few things here. And I always love coming on because the dialogue in the chat's always a blast. And I want to know, Jim, I know for up past your bedtime, do you not work any low band stuff at all after it gets dark? But maybe in the winter. Anyway,
yeah,
you deserve that one.
It's a 9 call. It's only 8 o'clock there, man.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so in case you don't know what Aurora is a brand new HF radio. We announced it at Dayton, but it's more than just a new radio. It's a brand new HF transmitter technology. So let me sound like an advertisement for a minute. So over the last 23 years, Flex Radio has done amazing jobs in the digital signal processing, software-defined radio. We can correct me if I misspeak here, Kyle, but we sort of led the pack forever on that, and all the focus was on the receiver. All right, so we got tired of playing with the receiver, I guess, and that's not true because we got some cool receiver stuff coming.
Yeah,
but we focused then in 2019. Tony Kilo 1 Kilo Papa came to us with an idea on a technology that he did not invent, but God, why am I blanking on the guy's name? The technology came out in 1958. And it's called envelope elimination and restoration, but it's about the amplifier part being done totally differently. And let's just call it digital signal processing in the transmitter.
Yeah.
In the end result is we can produce 500 watts out of a typical radio on a typical small heat sink. It doesn't get hot. It uses like a quarter of the energy. Like you can run 500 watts off a 1,000-watt Honda generator. You could probably take a Blue Yeti out in a pota field and run it at 100 watts long enough to run a nice pota.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 amps, wasn't it?
6 amp at 500 watts and
yeah,
amp and a half at 100 watts. And if you drop down to 50, you're like 700 milliamps of AC current. I mean, that's stupid scary. But, the power's there if you need it. And so it's a brand new technology. It works at Class D. And if you're a club and you want me to come talk your club, we do those talks. Just drop me an email at va3mw@flex.radio and we'll work it out. So that's Aurora.
It was whenever you unveiled it at Dayton, you guys had a brick on a CW key and it was just key down and it was for 10 hours?
8 hours, 9 hours. Didn't matter. Doesn't get hot. If you're an AM guy, those AM guys they go on a little bit, and I'm sure they're watching temperature gauges everywhere. You don't have to worry about it. The radio doesn't get hot. And you know what happens when it doesn't get hot? There's no fans running.
It's smooth.
So it's quieter.
Smooth.
It's quieter. And then if you're using it for remote, it makes a killer QRO station, right? A 500-watt QRO station.
Yeah. In one of our streams, I can't remember what it was. We maybe it was just me on my own. We got an 8600, we got a KPA 500 elecraft amp and a tuner and a power supply. If you bought the Aurora, you were going to save yourself something like $1,000 or $1,500 if you just bought it all in one package. And therefore, we've got a KPA 500 at the contest station, and sometimes it goes a little wonky. So it would be nice to have all that stuff just in one box, and you could have one wonk versus two wonkies.
Well, a couple of things too, and thanks V5SIR, Leonard Kahn in 1952. I knew it was 52 or 58, but because I was born in 58, that was at the front of my brain. Geez, we're old. Oh my God. Anyway, so Leonard Kahn came up with it, and so thanks for the reminder. The Dayton stuff and every other Hamfest, and I guess we're live, right? So next weekend, a week away from, I'll be at the RSGB conference in Milton Keynes in the UK. So I got to fly over there next week for a couple hour presentation. I'm actually staying for 6 days, and I'm bounding around there and coming back.
Is that in London?
No, it's in Milton Keynes, which is northwest of London. It's where Bletchley Park is. And Bletchley Park is where all the cryptology was done in the Second World War.
Oh, was that where the Enigma machine? Yeah, got it. Cool.
And so that's all good. So that is the
rundown.
So that's the Aurora, and so we've got a bunch of club stations that are putting it in play too, where they're sitting on an older TS2000 or something in an amplifier, and they immediately see the fact that if you put a box there that does it all in one, you don't have to worry about a guest operator overdriving the amplifier.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a huge safety thing. So I thought that was pretty good too.
Yep, we blew up our KPA 500 because we didn't know it was on, and we were throwing 100 watts at it. Which, if you know anything about amplifiers, that don't work. Well, it works. It works once, and then you have to send it to your friend and rebuild the power amplifier. So,
I blew up my RF kit when you can just see it over my shoulder here once, and my wife came into the, I have a closed office room and there's just haze, and she goes, "What happened?" I said, "Oh, you've now met the magic smoke." It was everywhere, and it stunk. It was the middle of winter. It was on 6. I had to, anyway. So that's Aurora too in a nutshell. And and it actually is price competitive, as you say. Yes, we'll actually have not at Belton, where we're going to Pacificon the week after, Steve. And Kyle, please pop up the questions, and we'll try to come back to them later too, because we want to make this more about questions as well. The Aurora works exactly the same as all our other radios, the 6000, the 8000, the Aurora. So it's really just plug and play. You bring up SmartSDR. You could own all 3 sets of radios in your shack and say, "I'm just going to use this one today." And it's that simple. I was actually shopping around at prices, and I went and looked at the new ICOM, the 200-watt ICOM. It's more expensive than the entry-level Aurora by $800.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I saw that too, and I was like, that's interesting.
Anyway, but it's got a tuner in it. It's got bandpass filters, and if you see me looking over here, I'm watching the chat too. So yeah, that sort of thing, and it's cool. I think I had it for 2 weeks, and then I had to ship it back. And I'm getting running CQ Worldwide. I think we'll probably do a multi-single, and I'm hoping I get it back. And I'm just going to stick the Aurora on my DX Commander antenna for the mult station. For one of us to run, and that that makes a killer HF station where you've got something like a DX Commander where you've got it's a fan vertical, but you've got resonant antennas, low takeoff angles. You throw in a couple of radios. The thing's remarkable, like scarily efficient. I found.
I think what I'm going to do is, long term, I got a 6700 and I got an 8600. I think I'm going to try and sell the 6700 and get the Aurora sometime early next year. I think that's what my plan is.
Yeah.
So,
And it's just really cool technology. I got to visit Tony, Kilo 1 Kilo Papa, at his house in he's in Massachusetts, and to be down there in the lab, it's sort of, he's got the whole transmitter, like the whole RF power transmitter. I should pull up some slides. Is 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches.
wow.
It doesn't weigh anything, and that's with the heatsink.
It's like a mad science. Is it like in a basement, a mad scientist?
100%.
He's got his lab coat on. He's
Well, no lab coat, and Tony's a contester and a really
Yeah.
cool guy and super smart. And so you go look at it, it's sitting, he's like most of us, we have a desk and scopes and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just sort of sitting here, and he's got a bunch of leads in there, and some of the leads are held in place with clothespins just to keep the wire from yanking out. And it's somewhere I've got a picture out. He goes, "Can I did share it online, I think, on Facebook back in was it August? It was early August or late August. Anyway, this is cute." And then he opens up a drawer and shows me. He says, "Well, what's the LMDOS in it?" I said, "Nope, can't tell you that. That was years of work." He's got a whole drawer of blowing up stuff, and so the project started in 2019, and Tony approached us, or Steve, N5AC, not Steve NA5C, who have met each other, by the way.
Who's in the chat?
He was in the chat, and they had a chat about it, and we decided to try to bring it to market. And it took a long time before it got the go to bring it to market. And I don't know how much millions of dollars are in this project.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's got to be well over $1 million by the time you think of everybody involved working on it and the salaries.
Yeah. Oh, here's an interesting question. Not sure if you can talk about it, but what's going on with the patent and with the amplifier?
Funny thing with patents is when you patent stuff, you got to tell them how you did it.
Interesting.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair question. Fair answer. Yep.
And no, we don't. I don't know how much stuff we patent, but I know we don't patent some things for that reason. It's just not. I don't know enough about the patent laws today, but my gut feel is it doesn't protect you the way you should, for the most part.
Right.
And then stuff gets copied and cloned, and
well, you guys are into the military stuff too, so that plays into it also, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's military, there's commercial, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah. So, well, I saw. It's a good overview of Aurora. I saw a newsletter where you guys had announced that the first boards were coming off of the assembly line. Is that a true statement, or what's going on with that?
A lot of that's happened already. We've actually shipped units to special things going on. I can tell you that we're going to sponsor CY0 Sierra, and it'll be all Aurora. And if you've ever done a de-expedition, half of your expense has to be fuel and transportation volume and transportation weight.
Yeah.
So imagine taking let's see, K3, a KPA 500, the power supplies for both, and the fuel to run a station on a de-expedition. You probably can't get out the door with like the Pelican cases that are for a single station weighing less than $100 or 100 pounds and taking up the volume, a significant volume. Now you could probably take a reasonable sized Pelican case, put an Aurora in it, put the headset, the key, all the stuff, have space left over, so jumper cables and watt meters. It weighs, and the Aurora only weighs 18 pounds.
Yeah, that's
instead
really,
of 70 pounds or 65 pounds. So CY0 Sierra was quite happy about that because they fly everything in, and it's all volume and weight, and that's where the expense is.
That's
and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool.
That's a DXpedition. That's not Sabra or Sabre Island, is it? That's another one. Or
Sable
is it
Island.
Sable? Sable? Saber?
S-A-B. Sable.
Saba. S-A-B-A?
Sable.
Sable.
S-A-B-L-E or E-L.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm not up on my DXpeditions. Is that the one that all the youth are going to?
I haven't looked. Could not impossible. That's the island with all the horses on it, the wild horses and stuff. It's a Canadian entity.
Okay. Yeah. So that one, per AI, great AI, March 2026.
Yep, that's it.
Sable Island. Yep.
Per AI. Do you use Google anymore at all?
Well,
Seldomly.
yeah.
Just to check.
Well, whenever you put something on Google, the first thing that comes up is AI overview.
AI generated.
Yeah, it just generates the information. So yeah, I thought that was one that my friend Connor is going to be on. Connor Dickey, KD9 LSV, but it's not. He is going to somewhere else. I can't remember. But this is Sable Island.
Correct.
CY0S. Yep. Okay. Got it. Very good. So
any more Aurora questions?
Yeah, hang on.
You go ahead, ask yours. I'll read.
Yeah. Oh, Steve says the youth are going to Saba Island, S-A-B-A Island. Thank you, Steve. So if somebody put in their deposits at Dayton or through the web or at Huntsville, when do you think people will start receiving their Auroras? You think by the end of the year, or you think it's going to be first quarter of next year?
So it's a good question. There are 3 groups of orders, and obviously, if you paid us more, you got to the top of, you got into group 1.
Right.
So we will be, unless, and I asked this afternoon, shipping in the fourth quarter, mid fourth quarter of this year, as of 5 hours ago when I asked.
Gotcha. Okay.
But here's the things that slow you down. You get it all up and running, it's 99% there. The rest is maybe some software, SmartSDR tuning. And then you send it to the EMI lab. And then they do the hot pot testing. And then they do the EMI noise testing. And then somebody says, well, I'm not saying this happened, but it did happen on something else. Actually, it actually happened on a Maestro. And then they come back and say, well, there's a carrier at 100.04 megahertz. And it's this loud. I mean, you'd never hear it, but it fails the test. And you sort of can't have a carrier randomly show up in an FM broadcast frequency. So they send it back to you and they say, fix it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
so you know how hard it is to find RF noise in your own shack? Can you imagine trying to find out what's oscillating
inside the box?
Inside the box. So these things happen.
Yeah.
Or they do hot pot testing, which is where you essentially do the Megger type testing and you get a breakdown somewhere. Where it doesn't, and usually those are a little easier to find, but they still take time. And sometimes it's just an extra layer of Captain tape but I mean, these are all the things you never think of.
Yeah.
It's different when you and I build a project and you're modifying something, we don't care. But when you're sending it out commercially.
Yeah. Things have to be perfect, right?
Things have to be perfect.
Yep. And adaptive pre-distortion is a key to making the Aurora work, correct?
It's part of it. It's actually surprisingly clean with it off. But this is a good question probably for Tony. Suspect it runs in the background, but I about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did a test on 20 meters and did an IMD3 test. There's an onboard 2-tone generator, and I did it the Flex way, where you transmit in one slice and you receive in a second slice in full duplex. But you can't do that with any other radio, so you're actually decoding the transmitted RF. And what's the FCC on IMD3? 32 dB down, something like that, 33? Yeah. If you hit 40, you're in God country with there's not many hit 40. Yep. This one was 20 meters was 49 dB down.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
49. It's a huge number.
Holy moly.
Anyway, and then there's adaptive pre-distortion and I've been playing with, we're up to 3.10.11 internally or something. And I've seen more work on adaptive smart signal coming and just getting better. How much work does Flex do to prime the manufacturing pump? I'm not sure, Don, what you're asking, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen from you build boards, you sign off boards, people, they go to production, or you build 10, then you build the radio, and then you find something's not right. So there's Rev B, Rev C, Rev D, Rev H. And then there's that juggle. Okay, so I built 100 and you find something else. Do you trash those 100 or do you rework those 100 because it's cheaper? I mean, these are all things that are like daily conversations. And that's not just with us. It happens with everybody.
Well, and if you don't live in that world, you don't understand how hard some of these things are, and how much time it takes.
Yeah.
I work in the healthcare construction aspect of it on the IT side. And, from a concept in a hospital to actually putting patients in a room could take years.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I've worked on projects for years, and it just takes time and effort, and the churn, and getting funding, and doing design changes, and getting things back, and it just takes forever. And but the nice thing about Flex is they're a small company. They don't have a lot of the red tape and bureaucratic crap that happens in other companies. I would assume that the bigger you are, the more red tape and all of the people that want to get their fingers in the pot get your fingers out of the pot. We got full body parts and people sticking their butts into pots where I work at. And, it's like, get out of the effing pot.
Yeah. And I find here, we often all get asked our opinion about what do you think of doing this? And something came up yesterday, and I thought it was a really dumb idea. But, I'll just say, I think this is a really dumb idea, or that's going to cost too much to make when you can buy the part on eBay for $10, but then again, we do have a lot of customers that want to buy everything from us because they know it works. There's that, FUD factor, fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Right.
And that's okay. No problem. And I'm fortunate too. We use Slack a lot at work. In fact, we get almost zero work email anymore. It's all Slack, which works.
Oh, wow.
If you've moved Slack into your workflow at work, you know exactly what I mean, how more efficient it is. And we have a policy internally that try to limit your one-on-one conversations, that if you're working on something that you make it public. So I get to see the Aurora engineering channel as they work through problems, and of course it's really good for me for internals and what's going on.
Yeah, I bet so.
Charlie, probably just design time. We had a 3-to-1 tuner, designing a 5-to-1 tuner, and this tuner will probably do 5-to-1 in a lot of cases, but you have to sort of publish it as your worst case scenario. I've seen it do 10-to-1, but it really depends on the reactants. That's all.
Got it. All right. Yeah.
By the way, that's a big integration issue, trying to use an external tuner with Aurora, because it is a little critical. In a tube radio, it didn't matter, right? Because the back end was your tuner. You tuned the output of the radio to your antenna. We never used tuners till we got to solid state.
Yeah.
And I still to this day almost never use a tuner, even at my brand new 40-meter array. Its best SWR is 1.6-to-1, and I won't use a tuner on it.
Yeah. The best antennas are resonant antennas, right? And they are the ones that you want to use, especially like in a contest situation, or maybe a fast-paced DX scenario where you're going from band to band, and you might miss that DX opening because you're tuning your radio, right?
I used to wait for my ACOM to boat. It had a countdown timer for 120 seconds. Man, that was forever.
Charlie also says 75 and 80 need a bit more than 3-to-1. Yeah, well, those are big
probably
bands.
Work.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's 10.
We have on 80 meters, we run wires at the contest station, and there's many times that I look over at the SWR meter and we're running 2.5-to-1, 800 watts. We just keep on trucking.
So we used to joke sometimes we had more reflected than people were licensed for forward.
That's funny.
I watch a lot of groups. I watch a lot of stuff on Reddit. I watch comments from a lot of new ham operators, and there is this phobia about SWR that it has to be 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And 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 you and I know that's true. And if you've operated for a while, you know that she just doesn't friggin' matter. And yeah, you can prove there's some losses in there, but is it the difference between making a contact and not making a contact? It's no difference between 500 watts and 1500 watts, which is not a huge difference
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things. And you have to deal more with the ionosphere changing its funny little face every 10 seconds. So
Yeah. If I see that SWR creep up above like 2.3, 2.4, I might, okay, there's something good. But if it's below 2 to 1 and I'm making contacts, I just keep trucking,
yeah.
But I mean, we have resonant antennas, and if the SWR is fluctuating, something's wrong with the antenna, or something's wrong with the feed line, or something's going on, that you have to maybe troubleshoot. So having a good SWR meter and watching that during contests is always a good thing.
Just keep an eye on it. And by the way, every radio that's been built in the last 30 years has got amazing SWR protection, including
Yeah.
amplifiers.
Right.
I mean, the Power Genius, Renko, he took it down, I guess, used to have a video where he'd have a dummy load to a T connector and key down at 2000 watts, and he would short it out with a screwdriver. It was great.
I think we just answered your question, Charlie. Is the amp more tolerant of SWR than my KPA? Anything is going to be, it's going to shut down. It's going to know, well, the amp might not, but the radio is.
Even amps are good.
Yeah. I have a KPA 500, and that thing is a rock solid workhorse. The only, you can't throw 100 watts into it though. So
on 6 meters.
On
and like we all do, when it doesn't work the first time, let's hit it with more RF the second time. Wow, there's nothing out. Jam the foot switch again.
Yeah.
Bang. Oh.
Hit it some more. Hit it harder. Get a bigger hammer.
It's never happened. No, none of us have never done that.
No.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah. So let's
So you get this text message from Mike that says, "Hey Kyle, maybe we should get on the air next week."
All right, so let's just bring everyone up to speed. The latest SmartSDR version is 3.10.10. That's the latest and greatest.
That's the current one. Yeah.
And you guys, the internet is on fire. It is literally burning inside, and it's about ready to do a huge backdraft on the revelation that SmartSDR is now going to have a license / subscription yearly service that, from what I understand, you don't have to pay. And I think there was a lot of people that were lit on fire on Facebook and some other places. I read some of the chat comments, and I was just like, holy moly. But what we're going to do is...
The sky's not falling.
The sky is not falling. I mean, there was some very rude comments, like, typical ham radio operators give on the internet. The trolls got a little fish bait there, but we are here to set the record straight. Tell us, Mike, what's going on, and then I don't know that much about it. I just read some of the rage baiting that was going on, so I'm going to ask some questions. Guys, put your questions in the chat. We'll get to them. And I'm going to learn about the subscription model just like everyone else because I was on vacation. So let's get into it. What is going on, Mike?
So hold your questions till I'm done my monologue here.
Okay,
for a second,
sounds good.
I think I'm going to hit them all. I hope. I think what happened to what you saw is people saw $199 per year and went off the deep end and decided, I'm going to have to pay Flex $199 per year in order for my radio to work. I'm going to have a brick.
Yeah.
And that's it. I sold everything in an hour. I'm buying all ICOM. Okay, well, that's fine. It happens. So that's not true. So we've had to move to a different model, and it really is actually better for the customer. So first off, let's talk about the free part. And it's actually, somebody brought up a good point. It's like Ham Radio Deluxe, and it really is. We're going to come out with version 4 shortly. I don't know if that's next week or next month or 2 months from now, but it's really close.
It's coming.
It's coming. And version 4 is free for everybody. Everybody gets version 4. No charge.
6,000 series and 8,000 series.
And 8,000 series. No charge. Current, up to date, performance improvements, bug fixes. Hold on. For free. We got that? Everybody got that? For free. Runs forever.
Which is different than your normal upgrade package, because the last time, if I remember, from version 2 to 3, I had to pay a dollar amount. I think it was $2.99, wasn't it? Or maybe it was $1.99. Okay. So everyone is getting, let's say that again. Everyone is getting the upgrade to version 4, doesn't have to pay a dime on every single Flex that has been made from a 6,000 series on.
Correct.
Okay.
Hard stop. And we actually want you there. And it makes life easier for our engineering team.
Okay.
100%.
So they want you, Flex wants you to upgrade to 4.0.
Right. So here's a couple of caveats with that. If you were at version 1, you never paid for 2 or 3. And the major features in 2 and 3 were SmartLink.
Right.
In 2. And multi-flex and smart control in 3.
Yeah.
That's so long ago. And that's the key part. It was so long ago. We've forgotten what was in there. Okay, got it. So if you come from 1 to 4, you get all the base functions, and you don't get smart link still, and you don't get multi-flex.
Okay. So, but you're keeping true to the people who paid the dollars to upgrade, right? How many? Okay, there's a question, but I gotta ask it. We still have people that are on version 1. Do we have counts of that? Is it 4? Is it 40? Is it 400?
I don't know. I don't even know if we can go pull that data, because and that's personal information type thing. But I suspect if the radio calls home for any reason, we probably have a database somewhere. I can honestly say we've probably not mined it. And so then if you're at 2, I paid for 2 6 years ago. And that means that, okay, so SmartLink works remote, which is the only time you use SmartLink or remote, but you don't have multi-flex. Okay. And a lot of people didn't upgrade because multi-flex did nothing for them.
Right.
That's fine. Okay. So we got that one down, Pat. Makes sense?
Yep. Makes sense.
Let's look at the world out here.
We're still okay. We still haven't blown up yet.
All right. So the next thing is we're coming out. I'm actually playing with new features. They do exist. And they're in the receiver. And stuff. Anyway, when that comes out, then you will pay $199. You have bought your new feature and you own it forever. Okay. Maybe subscription was the wrong word. So some people, by the way, a lot of people will just jump in right away because they're happy to support us.
Yeah. Okay.
Other people will think we've made the worst decision since Cracker Barrel and go somewhere else. And somebody did tell me that.
Touche.
And but I'm sitting here in a position of, I'm not going to say power, but power, because I get to see all the customer stuff, and I know the volumes and stuff, and the sky's not falling. So we have very loyal customers happy to give us a couple $100 because they know what it takes to run a company, a software team. And that may not be you, but there's some people. Others will wait, and others will wait till it comes out and get to see the new features, or until I demo them on YouTube, which I'm going to have to do as they come out, and say, here's what these do and when you might use it, type of thing. Okay, so that's the next part. Now, the good thing about this, and I'm going to pull up Steve's words on this, because Steve wrote an email to one of our customers on this, and I want to get the right words, and I wrote them down. So bear with me.
And you guys have done a lot of PR, a lot of answering questions. To tell you the truth, other than maybe Elecraft, which I don't think that they've got the community forums like you guys have. I know that they've got a bunch of groups IO, but the one thing that I love about Flex is you're getting answers directly from the people that are engineering, the ones that are supporting, the ones that are they're employees of the company, and you're getting it's from the source instead of like just hearsay. And this is the one thing that I like about Flex is you guys are in the trenches and you're seeing what's going on and you're answering questions and putting the fires out. I like it.
Yeah, I like when I was a dealer or managing a store back in the 90s, the 756 Pro came out with a sub receiver, and it was cool, but it was useless. And I told them that. And, or it wasn't a good contest radio because X, Y, or Z. And you could never feed that information back to Japan. So I can tell you honestly, if you put something in the community, nobody looks at Facebook besides me and one other person, a couple other people. Well, my boss does. But, Facebook's moved so fast. That's why I drive people on Facebook. Bring it over to the community. We have a logical conversation. And more important to me, people learn from good, detailed conversations.
Yeah.
So it's an educational tool for me. So if I punch you on there and say, or if it's a support problem, I just shut it down. But that's what I've been told to do. We don't want to debug a radio in Facebook. We're not
right.
going to do. I'm going to close the conversation, yell at me all you want, take it over the community, whole different world, and other people learn from it as well.
Yeah.
And I want to finish in one comment. Every person I work with, and there's up to 40, have a conscience. They like to go to bed at night trying to think they told everybody the right thing. And yeah, sometimes the story changes because, well, we learned something and the story changed.
Yeah.
It's not like we're trying to, but yet there's this group of people going, I'm here to pull the wool over your eyes. And no, not actually true. I like to go to bed at night with, clear conscience.
Yeah. I mean, that happens at my work too. Why didn't you tell me that? Well, because I didn't know that 5 minutes ago. Things have changed and now we live in a different world. So yeah. I hear you.
All right, so the next question. You have another question?
No. Keep going. We're accumulating questions in the chat, and we're going to get to them, guys.
Okay.
But Mike's got a couple more points that he wants
to
finish.
So I buy my widgets this year, and my subscription expires. Well, we need a better term, maybe. What happens to my widget? Does it turn off? Does anything turn off? No. It's no different than buying a brand new ICOM 7300, dragging it home. It just keeps working.
Right. It's like it's like paying for Amazon Prime. You might use it once, but it's still there. It's still there for the year. You still get it, right? But if you don't use it, that's your problem.
So your stuff still works, even if you never paid us another penny again, and it's 10 years from now. You pull the radio out of the box, it remembers its licensing. I mean, we've thought about, there's a lot of that licensing timing and stuff. It's all written into the radio.
Yeah.
So it's handled correctly.
So this is going to be a yearly subscription, a yearly thing. Is it going to be
based on your schedule?
Based on my schedule. So let's just say after I upgrade to 4.0 and then you guys come out with something really cool and I don't deem that it's necessary for me to pay the $199, but then 3 months later you come out with something else and I pay the $199. Not only do I get the first release, but I get the second release too with the items that I paid for.
Keep talking. I've got it. I think you're right. It's just one of those fuzzy things in my head. I've actually got that in a Slack chat. So while you're talking, I'm going to go.
So I
asked something very similar.
Yeah. So I just upgraded to 4.0 and 4.1 came out and it has something with adaptive pre-distortion that I didn't feel like I needed, but it was cool. All right. Sounds great.
Okay, here's what I asked. Here's what I asked then. If a customer, this is sort of similar
Yeah, okay.
because you're picking it up later, right?
Right, I'm picking up later.
So, and then maybe it's 3 years later.
Right.
Okay. So I said, if a customer pays it for his first year, skips year 2, and resubscribes in year 3, does he pick up those features released in year 2?
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, Whiskey One, Whiskey Radio Alpha asked that. And if you don't think we pay attention, we pay attention. And Haley, who you've probably met Haley at Dayton, comes
Yep.
back with a 1-word, 3-letter answer. Yes.
Yes. So you can't. So I'm
You
assuming.
can just stop.
Yeah, you can just stop, right? And then a feature comes out that you deem that is worth the dollars that you want, and then on top of that, from what I understand, if I pay the $199 in, let's say, March or April, yeah, it's been a long day, April, and I get that feature and I get the previous features, I get all of the other features from 1 year past that point that you guys come out with. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's what happens internally. Before, Steve wrote up a nice write-up in this, Steve N5AC, our CTO. What would happen in the way we were supposed to come out with a new version every year, 18 months, worst case scenario.
Right.
But what happens now is military comes along, commercial comes along, some incredibly, I've forgotten the military term where they said, if you bid on this contract, then we go to the top of your list, which the military can do. And then everybody gets yanked off it and moves over to producing whatever. And we've had to deal with that a little bit. But because this is also revenue generating, this allows our CTO to go back and say, look, amateurs are revenue generators as well. And this helps keep us working now on amateur being revenue generating. So the more cool things we come out with, the more money we hope to grab from people. Hey, we're in the business to make money. We got to make some money. People want to get paid.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So that's good, rather than say, well, through COVID, amateur took a big hit. There's no surprise there. We've come out with 3 versions since 2013.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
I mean, here I am on stream, and there's 70 people watching, 75 people watching. I don't mind paying the $199 because I've done it in the past, and I know that the features are coming, and I'm getting 4.0 for free, and so $199, I guess maybe in the grand scheme of things for me is not that big of a deal. It might be a big deal for somebody else, and I understand, but the $199 I don't think is a very good deal. I'm sure that the trolls are going to hit me on the top of the head for that. But then also there's like a $299 version too. So
we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, there's a version on top of that, right?
Yeah. So internally we have our alpha team. They get to play with stuff way ahead of time. Good, bad, stuff doesn't work, weird things happen. But you could thank them because they're the ones that get through 99% of the stuff that doesn't make it to the outside world. And does something scrape through? Yeah, every time something weird scrapes through. And it's like you sit here and you know what it's like, Kyle, when you can turn something on for the first time and go, and somebody's going to find something within the first 5 minutes. And
yeah,
even though with all this testing. So the early adopter phase gets you the release of those cool widgets, I believe 30 days earlier. And that's totally optional. If you're that guy and you just want to have the leading edge, whether it's who knows? Some people do. Some people are quite good with it. Paying that little bit to come in. Who knows how many that'll bring in? It's an experiment, to be honest.
And then
we'll see how it goes.
I saw the time frame was going to be about 30 days.
Yeah, about 30 days ahead.
So, if you want latest and greatest, $299, and that's good for a year, right? And then, but if you want to wait to see if that feature, is something that you want to have on your radio, it's $199, right?
Yeah, and then if maybe you want it because you're going to go talk about it and show it. I don't think that's going to be under NDA, but I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's going to be it's going to be out in the open, so I would assume, right, that it would be okay. So let's
15 minutes left. Should we do some questions?
let's do some questions. Then I've got another question about something else that might ruffle some feathers too.
You want to do
So
that first?
no, I want to get through these questions because I only have
Okay.
a certain amount of buffer here on my thing. I got to go back. Come on, guys. Adaptive pre-distortion will be part of 4 base.
It's actually part of 3 now, and
Right.
anybody with an 8000 radio has access to the first release of it.
Dan says, does SmartSDR have voice TX memories like CW TX memories? If not, when?
Not today. Very valid question. Stay tuned. It's high on the list.
That was one thing I think Dan was waiting. He wanted to buy a Flex, and he found out that was not part of SmartSDR. So I think if you get that fixed, maybe Dan will buy a Flex.
Okay. It's incredibly high on the list.
Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, guys. If I don't get to your question, ask it again. Sorry. Everyday Ham, for users purchasing a new Flex Aurora, and those new users are being granted a 1-year subscription. Oh, I don't think so.
I think so.
You think so?
But I can't confirm it. But if you want to drop me an email tomorrow, I'll check it out. But I don't know if we've thought that far ahead. But this we're pretty good at trying to be logical. It sort of makes sense to do.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure maybe the answer's in one of our FAQs, which I'll go look because I have documents of this stuff.
So basically, if you buy an Aurora, are you going to get a 1-year subscription?
Yep.
To SmartSDR.
Yeah, fair enough. Good, fair question, but we'll get it found out for you.
Okay. I think we answered this a little bit ago. Does the Maestro work with the Aurora? I think that the answer is yes. It works just like any other Flex item. Ooh, this is a good one. The subscription is tied to the hardware. So if I buy a used one, does it transfer?
Just like all of our radios, yes, the subscription is tied to the hardware. And probably the next question is, what if I have 4 radios? Do I have to buy 4 subscriptions? Yes. But we are looking at how, some sort of bulk thing. We appreciate some of you guys have more than one radio. On the counter side of that is, how do we make sure you're not just like you and 5 of your guys aren't getting together and saying, hey, I own 5 radios sort of thing. And so
yeah,
that's a bit of that. So
it's not your subscription that ever expires. It's the software maintenance plan. You get a free MTCE plan at purchase, and you can renew occasionally to feature upgrade. Is that true? Yeah, I think we answered that, right?
Yeah, we answered that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Still works even if that is SmartLink. So my SmartLink works forever.
Yeah. Yeah. You already paid for that if you're using it when you bought version 2.
Yeah. Roadmap Of-features, Jordan. Come on? Do you really think so? No other company has a roadmap of features. You think Flex is going to do that? You get crazy.
You can email Steve at flex.radio.
If I purchase Aurora,
it's a fair question, though.
Yeah. No company is going to produce. I mean, what we buy millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of Cisco equipment at work, and they don't even give us a roadmap. Come on. Yeah, they don't tell you anything.
It's after 9. Oh, it's after 9, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. This is not kid friendly. If I purchase Aurora, do I get 1, 2, or 3 year license with a new purchase?
You don't get any because you didn't spell it right.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Well, we sort of talked about that, but that's I don't have an answer on that one. I don't think, like I said, I don't think we've talked about it, but we need to. Or you know what? Maybe I missed the meeting, but I'll find out.
Okay, so
it's after 9, so I can be a bit cocky.
I'm going to highlight this one, but we're going to table this because this was my question. So, Jerry, table your thing right here. So let's
Jerry, just send me an email at VA3MW at flex.radio.
No, I want to talk about it.
Okay, send it to Kyle, send it to Kyle. Kyle will text me. That's a good question. Mac users, go back to Mac.
Okay, let's talk about it. So Marcus has a version of Mac software. What's going to happen there? What has any thought been given to that?
So when in Flex Radio's model, when we develop new feature functionality, it runs in the radio. This is why we're able to use a thin client now, for like an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook or whatever. Now, in today's world, thin clients are pretty powerful, but if you think back 10 years ago, imagine running FT8 on an iPhone. It wasn't going to happen.
Right.
There just wasn't enough horsepower. So in the Flex Radio world, anytime we do something, it runs in the radio, and the only thing you see on the GUI is the result. Like the pan adapter waterfall is really nothing more than a movie. We just send frames of movie frames. We generate a movie. So in Marcus's world, his special features like FT8, FT4, SSTV, he's just built those and they run on the device. He just gets the same raw data from us as well. If and Marcus has a direct line to engineering with Eric, and they talk a lot. So when we develop new features in the radio, Marcus then has to enable the buttons or the I/O required to access that. That's totally up to him whether he does it or not. I can't say he's going to do it. He probably will.
But I guess I just had epiphany. So you still have to buy the license in order to get the things to be enabled. Marcus is just going to enable the button.
Yeah. Let's say we built in, I'm just going to say CW decoder. Now we know Marcus already has a CW decoder built in his application. Let's say we built a CW decoder. It would actually run in the radio. Right. And then you would capture the output of the decoder and then feed it to the screen.
Yep.
That's sort of a bad choice because Marcus already has a CW decoder. But if he didn't, he would just leverage that API and pull the information over.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
And the 8000s are more powerful than the 6000s, so we got some ideas there.
Here, Don had a comment here. You want to comment on this? Hard to find and believe that SmartLink, if they upgrade it, I bet the old versions will go obsolete.
I'm not sure what you mean. SmartLink's pretty basic and pretty rock solid. I don't know. There's nothing to change there.
Can you download old versions? Do you guys have like an FTP site that you can get to that has old versions?
No, we don't want them out there. I mean, if you have an old version, you can run it, but it's probably going to break something else. Either it might not run because of .NET dependencies and a whole other external, things. And there's not really any reason to. There's no dependency that going backwards, other than like a subversion today. There's a TX1 issue, so 3.10.10. That needs to be like on an urgent list, but.
Is CW fixed in 4.0 so that the CW operators on 2 will want to upgrade? Whenever you say broken? Fixed, yeah. Whenever you mean the side tone, they want to hear the side tone.
Anyway, we'll skip that for now because I don't know of any showstopper CW issues. Yes, APA is still free.
Yep.
And we want that. We want you guys to play with the API.
Okay, I think that was it for the questions. Just kind of scanning through here for question marks. But if I think I'm done. So if I didn't get your answer displayed on the screen, let me know.
Call Don.
Call Don. Call Don. Yeah, there's a lot of comments about 8600 versus 6000. Obviously, the 8600 or the 8000 series has got a lot more horsepower. So therefore, I would assume that some of the features would be enabled if you had an 8000 series versus a 6000 series. Is that a fair statement?
Say again.
So if I had an 8000, like adaptive pre-distortion, that is That's an 8,000 series thing, not a 6,000 series thing, you know?
Yeah, and the only way we could do it on a 6,000 is with external processing. We still haven't found a good economical way to do that to see if it's even worth doing.
Yeah.
And part of that's being brought on. This is another. We're going to get to the point where we're end of manufacturing on 6,000s due to parts availability, and well, we had to change anyway. But we've got enough stuff to service 6,000 still for a while. We stockpile a lot of stuff. We probably have over $1 million in stock inventory for parts.
Oh, wow.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
Here's
so does it make sense to go back and build that? And will people buy it if it's $399, $499?
right.
Nice try, Mike.
Yep. There's that roadmap right there. There's the roadmap right there.
I know, Mike, CKO.
What about this one?
I haven't got a timeline on that, Jim, but it's high on the list too.
Yep.
The good news is the radio is really clean on its own.
Again.
So, Mike, we hope. I'm being told that the cadence is going to go way up. Case in point was Haley said something to me a number of months ago and said, "Yeah, we got some new cool stuff," and like 5 weeks later, I got cool stuff. So,
yeah,
and it wasn't started yet.
Don,
I can't say that's a black and white number, then I'll get called out on it.
Yeah.
So.
In the videos and new features.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what features work with radios. Yeah, I would think so.
Of course. I'll try to build it. We'll build charts and cross references and stuff.
Yep.
All right, Kyle, you got 3 minutes. What was your question?
It was the Mac. It was the how's
Mac stuff?
Yeah, Marcus going to integrate all of his stuff, and you answered it.
Yeah, Marcus is pretty good about doing the right thing.
Yeah, well, I was driving home from vacation, and I was thinking about how it was going to be implemented, and the HRD maintenance thing that they have, and just comparing it to was this a good deal? Am I going to buy it? Yada yada, and yeah, I'm going to buy it, but then I got to thinking about Marcus, and I'm like, well, how? But then it's the features are in the radio. Marcus just has that front end, and you're just sending him stream information on whatever feature it is. So he just needs to enable it on his screen. And then, if you click the button and nothing happens, well, you don't have it, right? I'm sure
the button won't be there. He's got to write the button. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Very good. Well, I'm glad that, there's 70 people watching. I'm glad that we didn't have too many trolls. Actually, we didn't have any trolls. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Is Big Jim out there? Jim, are you out there? I'm sure that you're probably cussing. I'm sure that he's got some issues. Well, Jim's got issues to begin with, but anyway.
Good thing I don't know him.
Jim's a good guy. Jim jumped out of a perfectly good airplane at Huntsville. You believe that?
Oh, is he our parachute guy?
No. That's Carlos.
Oh, it's Carlos.
But Carlos took Jim on a wild ride out of the plane. And, Jim's like just rolling up, he's like, hey, just jumped out of a plane, and everyone else that Carlos took up, they're just like, that thing was awesome. It was cool. Oh my God, I want to do it again. And Jim's like, just rolls up. He's like, oh yeah, I jumped out of a plane.
I can tell you a wild ride not to try. So I had to do some drone work on the weekend, and I'm sitting there with my Avata, the DJI Avata, with goggles on and full FPV flying.
Oh wow!
In a Jeep in an uneven road because I was filming the Jeep. So the Avata is doing one thing and my brain's doing the other thing because we're in it. And I was good for about 4 or 5 minutes. It took the rest of the day for my inner brain to calm down.
I've tried putting on the virtual goggles and never again.
Oh, it's quite interesting, the brain in that stuff, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. We had at work, there's a nursing school, and they created these VR goggles, a program where they go in and they actually have a patient, and they're doing an IV, and they're, and I put these goggles on, and I was like, doing all the IV stuff, and then I took them off, and that was the issue. Everything was and I was just like, I can't do this.
Didn't they do that on Grey's Anatomy one day? I stopped watching that 10 years ago.
They might have, but never again. Never VR goggles again. So
they're cool. All right, sir.
All right. Anything else, Mike? You want to plug?
Yeah, I'll be at the RSGB convention next week, like I said, in the UK. So please come by and say hi. I'll be at the MLNS. I guess they have a booth.
Is that a big ham fest? Like, how many people go? Do you know?
I don't know. I've never been, but it's a big deal. And then Lori and I don't know. I think who's going? Ed, maybe to Pacificon on the other coast.
Yeah.
And from Toronto, arguably, it's easier for me to get to London than it is to get to Pacificon, even though the flight's longer and I can sleep. So I leave Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to that. And if you've never been over to Bletchley Park, which is great technology stuff, and they've got an amazing ham station there as well, and everybody's in it. I come Kenwood Yesu, us.
I'm assuming there's a museum there that you'll be able to
huge museum.
Yeah,
it'll take you a day to go through their museum.
Wow. All right, well, I'm gonna have to put that on my list. Oh, thanks, Don.
Gave you some money.
Hey, Don. Nice. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. Don's always I bust Don's balls, but Don's always a good guy.
It's so hard to bust people's chops on text. Because when you have the voice conversation, it's all, you get to read the inflections and everything. And so our apologies I do it all the time. I hate text dialogue, and it's
well, and also, I have this platform, and there's just people typing in the text, and it's a very unfair balance of they're typing, and I'm got this verbal vomit going on, and much louder megaphone than the text. But Don,
everybody busts my balls. Even in Workbench, when we go live type of thing, we really dedicate one person to the chat, and they generally don't speak much, unless they need to speak up.
Well, it's a challenge sometimes to keep up with the chat. We only had 75 people on the stream, but there's big name streamers out there that have thousands, and I just don't know how they do it. I just can't. There's no way that sometimes I can't. Yeah, I just can't keep up sometimes. So
well, they have a producer that pulls stuff out for them as well. So
probably.
Yeah.
What does Charlie say here?
Post it.
You should add the option.
It's up there with that joke where it says, "I had this nightmare where my wife sold all my equipment for the price I told her I bought it for."
That's funny. Who did Rob said, did you ask your other feisty question? Yeah, it was about the Mac stuff and Marcus. Yeah, we already got that answer.
E5 SAR. I'm sorry, I don't know your first name, but I bet you it's easier to fly to the UK than to the southern border at the moment. But we won't go there.
All right. Very good. Well, thanks, Mike, for taking some time and answering some questions. Hopefully, we put some things to bed, so therefore, there's one less troll out there that is going to go out in the community and ask a question that has already been asked. And
there's no such thing as bad advertising.
Tell that to some other manufacturers, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Go out, buy Aurora. Go out and look for more information about the new SmartSDR Plus. I'll be upgrading and putting my order in. So very good. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Talk to you later. 73. Claire.